Ever get that sinking feeling when you realize you need to update, like, software dependencies?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, you need to rewire your whole house,
Mm-hmm.
but every time you, like, touch a wire,
Uh-huh.
the plumbing explodes.
It's the worst. It's like a universal struggle for developers, right?
Yeah,
You
totally.
want all the new features, you want the security patches, but it's
Yeah.
scary. All those breakages.
Yeah. And that's the problem that this company, Xeol, they just got, like, $3.2 million in funding.
Wow.
They're tackling it head on.
Good for them.
They've got this AI-powered tool called Bumpgen.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
imagine this. You have to update, like, a core package in your TypeScript project.
Mm-hmm.
Bumpgen not only handles the update,
Oh, wow.
but it also automatically fixes the code that breaks because of it.
So it like anticipates the problems.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, think about if you were trying to update React.
Right.
In a large application, that could take days or weeks to fix all the little things that break.
Mm-hmm.
In Bumpgen, they've shown it can fix like 45% of the breaking changes right away.
What? 45%?
Yeah.
That's incredible. But wait, how does AI, like, even understand
Right.
what needs to be fixed in the code? That sounds like magic.
Well, it uses something called an abstract syntax tree.
Okay.
AST for short.
Got
It
it.
basically grasps the structure of the code.
So it's not just like blindly replacing packages.
No.
It's actually understanding the code.
Yeah. Think of it like an X-ray of your code,
Okay.
so it can see how everything connects.
Oh.
And it uses a library called tsmorph to generate this AST, so it really gets this like deep understanding. And then, get this, it uses a thing called a plan graph.
Plan graph.
Yeah. It was developed by Microsoft, actually, for their code plan project.
Interesting.
But basically, you know when you're changing code, the order you do it in matters, right?
Right, yeah.
You don't want to change a function before you update the variables it depends on.
No, that would be bad.
Exactly. So the plan graph helps Bumpgen anticipate all those little ripple effects,
Oh, what?
and then it does the changes in the right order.
Wow. So it's like having like a really good developer assistant.
Yeah. But it's not just about moving code around. It needs to understand like the context of the changes, right?
Yeah, of course.
And for that, it actually uses this large language model. Specifically, it's called GPT-4 Turbo Preview. It's from OpenAI.
Whoa, so it's using one of the most advanced AIs to write code.
Yeah. Pretty cool, huh? It opens up a lot of possibilities for like the future of software development.
Yeah.
But, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Sure.
There are still some things it can't do.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say, what are like the limitations of Bumpgen?
Yeah, well, one big thing is it relies on build errors, like to start the fixing process.
Okay, so what does that mean?
So if an update like causes some weird behavior but doesn't create a build error,
Uh-huh.
Bumpgen might just miss it.
So not a total silver bullet for dependencies.
Not yet, at least. And also, it can't handle like multiple package updates at once, and it can struggle with very large frameworks.
Okay, so it's helpful but not magic.
Right. But even with those things, it's still a huge step forward, automating this really time-consuming task.
For sure.
And, Xeol, they're working on addressing these limitations.
Yeah, so what's like next on their roadmap?
Okay, so they're working on a GitHub app version
Okay.
to make it easier to integrate.
Right.
And they want to add support for other programming languages,
Oh, like what?
like C#, Java, Go.
Oh, wow.
So it's not just limited to TypeScript.
That's cool.
And this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
They're looking into incorporating something called embeddings.
Embedding.
Yeah, for different package versions.
Now that sounds complicated.
It is a bit, but think of it as like translating information about different package versions into a language that AI can understand.
So teaching AI to speak package version.
Kind of, yeah. And Xeol thinks this could make Bumpgen even smarter.
Oh, interesting.
Like imagine being able to ask Bumpgen, hey, what are the risks of upgrading to this React version?
Yeah.
And it would give you a full analysis.
That would be incredible.
Yeah, it's pushing the boundaries. Really exciting stuff.
It really is.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does feel like, we're seeing this big shift
Right.
in how software is developed.
Yeah, and I think a lot of developers listening might be thinking, oh no, are robots taking my job?
I don't think it's about replacing developers. It's more like giving them better tools.
Okay.
Like Bumpgen can handle those really boring, repetitive tasks that nobody actually enjoys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
So then the developers are free to do the more interesting stuff.
Right. So instead of spending days
Yeah,
updating dependencies.
exactly.
You can spend that time like designing new features or solving the really hard problems.
Exactly. It's like, think about the history of software development. We went from writing machine code, right, to these high-level languages. Then we started using frameworks and libraries to like abstract away all that complexity.
Yeah.
So using AI like Bumpgen, it feels like the natural next step.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Like AI is becoming this ultimate assistant, helping us write better code.
Yeah.
More secure, more efficient.
Definitely.
But let's talk about like how people could actually use Bumpgen.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
You mentioned command line and CI/CD pipelines. Can you give us some like specific examples?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so let's say you're a small startup, right?
Yeah.
Small team, moving fast, always pushing new features. Bumpgen could be amazing for them, keeping their dependencies up to date without like slowing them down.
Yeah, it'd be like having another developer.
Right, but without the cost.
Yeah.
Okay, now imagine you're a huge company,
Okay.
giant code base, lots of teams working on different things. Bumpgen, with the CI/CD integration, you could automate all the updates across the whole organization.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah. So you'd have consistency and less security risks.
Yeah, especially for companies that are like really worried about security.
Exactly. And then Bumpgen could also be huge for open source projects.
Oh, interesting.
Think about it. Anyone contributing to the project could easily update dependencies.
Yeah.
And Bumpgen would just fix any problems.
That would make open source so much more efficient.
Exactly. And it would help everybody who uses open source software.
True.
Which is pretty much everyone in tech.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then there's educational institutions, too.
Oh, yeah.
Teaching students to use Bumpgen could really prepare them for, like, the future of development.
Yeah, the AI-powered future.
Right.
That's really interesting. So Bumpgen has the potential to, like, change how we approach software development across so many different types of organizations.
Yeah, and that's what's really exciting about it. It's not just a technical solution. It's changing the whole landscape, opening up all these new possibilities.
Yeah, it really feels like we're at the beginning of something big.
I think so, too. And it's going to be fun to watch how AI tools like Bumpgen evolve and shape the future.
Yeah, totally. So we've talked about like the problem Bumpgen solves and how it works and even its potential impact on the future.
Yeah.
But for people listening who want to like try it out,
Right.
what's the status right now?
So it's still in beta,
Okay.
but Xeol has a sign-up form on their website.
Oh, okay.
Anyone can sign up to try it. And they're also working on that GitHub app version, remember?
Yeah.
So that'll make it even easier to use.
So people listening can be early adopters
Yeah.
and like help shape the development of the tool.
Exactly. And for developers who are, a bit more adventurous,
Yeah.
the Bumpgen code is actually open source. It's on GitHub.
Oh, wow.
So they can contribute, experiment with the code, even suggest new features.
Oh, that's awesome. That's the great thing about open source.
Right.
You get all that collaboration and innovation.
Totally. And by making Bumpgen open source, it shows they're confident and they're being transparent.
Yeah, I agree. It builds trust.
Yeah. Now, remember you mentioned Xeol's roadmap earlier. Support for more languages and those embeddings.
Yes.
What are you like most excited about for the future of this tech?
That's a tough one.
There's so much potential.
I know, right? I think I'm most excited about seeing how Bumpgen can handle those like really complex update scenarios.
Yeah.
Like imagine it being able to update tons of packages at once across different languages even
Oh, wow.
with barely any human intervention.
That would be incredible. Developers could focus on the really creative stuff then.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe someday Bumpgen or something like it
Yeah.
could even predict performance improvements or like new features you could add
Wow.
because of the updates.
So it's not just about fixing things.
No, it's about unlocking all these possibilities.
Yeah, that's a really cool thought.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Well, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into Bumpgen.
Yeah,
It's been really interesting to explore this AI tool.
it has. It really seems like Xeol is onto something big.
Yeah, they are. And to our listeners, if you're interested in AI and software development, check out Bumpgen.
Definitely.
You might just become part of this, like, AI-powered revolution.
Totally. Until next time, keep on diving deep.
Yeah, it's amazing to think about all the time Bumpgen could save developers. But I'm curious, like, what's holding it back right now? Is it just that people don't know about it yet?
I think it's a little of that. Bumpgen is still pretty new, right?
Yeah.
It takes time for people to hear about it and then to get comfortable with this whole idea of AI changing their code.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And also, it's still in beta.
Right.
So there might be some like glitches or limitations that Xeol is still working on.
Right. So some developers might be a little hesitant.
Yeah, especially if they're working on something really important.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why it's smart that Xeol made the code open source.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah.
developers can look at it, contribute, see exactly how it works.
Yeah, that definitely helps build trust.
Yeah.
So can we go back to those embeddings for a second?
Sure.
They sound really powerful, but also kind of hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
How could they be used, like, in the future development of Bumpgen?
Okay, so versions,
Okay.
like the history of updates, any known problems, even what other developers are saying about them.
So it's like giving Bumpgen this giant library of package info.
Yeah, exactly. And embeddings are how you take all that information and make it so AI can use it.
Oh, okay.
So then Bumpgen could make much smarter decisions about which updates to do, how to fix things, maybe even suggest completely different packages that might be better.
Wow, so it could almost be like a consultant?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Like an AI consultant for your dependencies.
That's really cool. So as we wrap up, I wanted to ask you, like, what gets you most excited about AI in software development in general?
For me, it's the potential for AI to really help humans do things that were just like impossible before, or
Right.
that took way too long,
Yeah.
Imagine developers being able to focus on the big ideas, the design, the innovation,
Yeah.
while AI handles all the details of writing the code, testing it, making sure it's secure.
So like AI is doing all the grunt work.
Exactly. It's like AI takes care of the plumbing so you can build the house.
I like that analogy.
And Bumpgen is a great example of this. It's taking this task that everyone hated and making it something AI can do.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It frees up developers to, actually be creative.
Yeah. It's definitely an exciting time to be a software developer.
It is.
Well, I think that's about all the time we have for our deep dive into Bumpgen.
Yeah.
It's been fascinating to learn about this tool and how it could change how we develop software.
Absolutely. Bumpgen is a really interesting example of what AI can do, and I can't wait to see what comes next.
Yeah, me too. And to everyone listening, if you're all curious about AI and software, you should definitely check out Bumpgen.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe you'll be part of this AI revolution. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.